Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss the first chapter of class 9th economics, the story of village Palampur. This village Palampur is actually a hypothetical village, and this village is going to help us in understanding number of concepts from the factors of production to different types of farming, the way of life of the villagers and many other concepts. But before starting those concepts, let us have an overview of village. Let us move around the village and see how this village is looking around. So we're talking about the village Palampur. There is another village nearby to this village. We can say the nearest village to Palampur is Raiganj. And this is at the distance of just 3 kilometers from Palampur. And the nearest town to Palampur is Shahpur. It's a big town that is nearest to village Palampur. So if we are talking about the nearest village, it's Raiganj, and if we are talking about nearest town, it's Shahpur. There are around 450 families in the village. 80 belong to the upper class. Their houses are big, concrete houses. And there are 1/3 of families, they are Dalits. They live in one corner of the village. Their houses are small, made up of mud. Mud and straw. Most of the houses have electric connections in this village. What is the benefit of that electricity? What villagers are taking? They have installed electric run tube wells in their fields, and they are irrigating their fields. Why the majority of people of Palampur, 75% of people are associated with farming. They are associated with agriculture. Talking about the schools, there are 3 schools in Palampur. 2 are primary and 1 high school. About the health facilities of this village, in this village there is 1 private dispensary and 1 government primary health care center. Besides this, the village Palampur, which is connected to the nearby town and nearby village, it's connected by an all-weather road. That road on which the transport moves throughout the year. And on that road, different kind of transport moves. Trucks, jeeps, buggies, tongas, they move they ply throughout the year. So this was a brief introduction about the village Palampur. Now our next topic is factors of production. This is one of the important topics when we are talking about the economics and understanding economics. Factors of production. Now before coming to the factors of production, let us understand what production is. The word production. What does this mean? What do you understand from this word production? In simple words, production means to produce something. What to produce? It can be good or services. Now goods, you understand in the terms of commodities. We have different goods which are around us, which we are able to see. Around us, there are a number of goods. And what about the services? If I am talking about goods, yes, there are commodities. And when we are talking about services, do we have any commodity directly? Do we have anything? No, we are just providing services. A teacher in a school who is giving a lecture, he is not giving any commodity, but what the teacher is doing, he or she, they are providing services. Telecommunication companies, they are providing services. So when we are talking about the term production, it means to produce something. It means to produce something, and this something can be good or services. Now, if we are producing any good, what are the factors involved in that? How to organize that? Now that is our topic, which is factors of production. So there are 4 factors involved in production: land, labor, physical capital, human capital. Now we are going to discuss all these factors in detail one by one. As we are discussing factors of production, production means production of goods and services. So let us take example any of the good. Rice. We are going to produce rice. Now to produce something, to produce rice, what are the factors involved in this? How to organize this? How to manage this? Now, to produce rice, now keep this thing in your mind that we are going to produce rice. Now we are going to produce rice here. The first factor, first important factor which we need, that is land. Can we cultivate rice plant without land? So if we are going to produce, why I am taking example of rice or wheat? Because our chapter is mainly related to agriculture. We can take example of any good that will fit to this, because the factors of production are going to be same. So to cultivate rice, the first factor is land. Okay, rice here we are talking about production. So we need land. Land involves natural resources. Land involves water which is present on it. So the first factor of production is land. Coming to the second factor of production. Now we have this land. Now who is going to work on this land? We need someone who is going to work on this land. And who are the people who are going to perform that? We need to sow the seed, harvest, plant, fertilizers, using of fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, using water. All these things we need to arrange. Okay? And there is someone who are going to use this, who are going to use machines, tools, tractor, fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, water, sowing of seeds, everything. So the second factor of production is the person who will do the work, and they are called as laborers. So our second factor of production is going to be laborers. Who are the laborers? Who will do the work? Now talking about the work is not same. The work is not going to be same. The nature of the work is going to be different. How? Let us try to understand this. If there is a person who is doing one work, bringing the fertilizer bags on his or her shoulder and moving that from one place to another place, that is also a work. And there is another person who is using fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, tractor. So both are doing the work on the same field. So we have one group of laborers who are doing the work where you need skill, knowledge of that work. For example, how much fertilizers to use, how much pesticides, how much you need to sow the seed, what is the time to use those fertilizers and pesticides. Okay, there are laborers who are experienced, who have knowledge of doing this. And there is another group of laborers who just do the work, picking up our bags from one place to another. They don't need any knowledge or any education doing that work. So depending upon the nature of the work, laborers are of two types. The work is of two types. One is the skilled labor, where you need knowledge for skills, the work which you are performing, and for other work, you are just doing the manual work. So the second factor of production is labor. It's of two types, skilled and manual, depending upon the nature of the work. Now coming to the third factor of the production, that is physical capital. Now once land is there, laborers are there. Now what laborers do with empty hands? Are they going to do any work? So for the process of production, because what actually we are discussing process of production. What is our aim here to produce? It's rice. So we have land, factor number one. Factor number two, we have laborers. Now what they will do? There are 10-20 laborers standing near the land. They don't have anything to do. Unless and until they are provided with inputs. They need inputs. Now what kind of inputs? All the kinds of tools, machines, fertilizers, pesticides, seeds. These are all inputs. Which inputs? For the process of production. So our third factor is physical capital. Various inputs required at different stages of production. And what are those inputs? Machines, tools. Tractor can be also an input. Okay, that can be also an input. We have fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, watering the plant. All the inputs, they come under the umbrella of physical capital. Now, these inputs, again, this physical capital is of two types. One is fixed capital, another is working capital. Now, let us discuss these two types of physical capital. Both are inputs which we required at different stages of production. In case of fixed capital, what is being done? Now, let me ask you a question. If we are going to buy tools and machines for farming, are we going to buy them every season? No, we are not going to buy them every season. We are going to keep them for 10 years, 5 years, 15 years. Okay? So in case of fixed capital, those inputs where the investment is for long term. Machines, tools, we are not going to replace them every season. The investment is for a longer period of time. And in case of working capital, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, we are not going to buy these inputs for 10 years because there is an expiry date. We are going to buy seeds every season. So when we are talking about working capital, in simple words, that is short-term investment. Raw material, seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides. So all this will come under the umbrella of working capital. So this was the third factor of production, physical capital. It has two types, fixed capital, working capital. So we are done with the three factors of production: land, labor, and physical capital. Now coming to the most important factor of the production, that is the human capital. Now, who is this human capital? What is the role of the human capital? We have to purchase land. How many laborers to hire? How many manual laborers? How many skillful laborers? What kind of inputs we require? Which machine we require? Which tool we require? How much fertilizers to buy? How much seeds to buy? This is decided by someone. And the person organized these three: land, labor, physical capital. So the person who organized these three, why the person organizes these three? Because the aim, the motto is of production. And we are talking about what is our aim here? That is rice. Land is there, laborers are there, physical capital. But they have been bought by someone. This has been organized by someone. This has been managed by someone. And the person who managed these three factors of production is termed as human capital, our fourth factor of production. Now, why human capital is able to do so? How human capital is able to manage all these factors of production? There are reasons, there's a reason for that. Because human capital has a knowledge, skill, ability to do so. The fourth factor of the production is the human capital, who organize other three factors of production for desired output. So hope you have understood. Let us sum up this topic. There are four factors of production, but before that, the main aim of production is to produce goods and services. Now, there are four factors of production. Land is there, labor, physical capital, human capital. Land is the first requirement. Labor, the person or the persons who will do the work. Depending upon the nature of work, there are two types: skilled and manual. Physical capital, various inputs required at different stages of production. It's of two types: fixed capital, working capital. And last one, but not the least, most important factor, that is human capital, who organize other three factors of production for desired output. So, thank you for your time and patience for the day. See you in the next class. Take care of yourselves. Bye.